Hey there! So welcome to, not the garden today, the kitchen. I am inside actually because it's super hot out, and I was doing some stuff with the houseplants, and I also picked up a few new houseplants at the garden center, and I thought, you know, maybe you would like to see what's going on with the houseplants. It's kind of funny because I usually end up picking up a lot of houseplants in, January, when there's not really much you can do outside and the garden's kind of quiet. But now we are here in the middle of July, and while the garden is in full swing, and I am out there doing things and checking on things, it's also really, really hot. Our real field temperature in the shade today was 102, and the actual temperature was 80 degrees. So that tells you what the humidity has also been doing. So basically I found myself at the garden center and spending more time in the indoor greenhouse. That actually felt like a more comfortable place to be, and it was just kind of funny to me because I thought, oh my gosh, here we are in the middle of summer, but actually being indoors is kind of where I want to be. I usually do a big refresh of all of the houseplants in December, January, in the middle of winter. It's kind of one of my ways that I like to, just kind of enjoy my indoor space and a little bit of gardening. But some of the houseplants I've lost over the season. I needed to get a few new ones, and so we're doing a little bit of a mid-season houseplant refresh. So let me show you the state of everything. I am going to start with kind of a cool houseplant. This is actually a ginger root, and this is from the ginger that I grew in my garden last year. Ginger, of course, is kind of a tropical plant. So what I actually ended up doing was harvesting the ginger in the fall, and then completely by accident, I actually sort of stored the ginger because I brought it in, I put it in a pot to replant some of it. I took all the leaves off. I was just going to use all the ginger, and then I thought, no, this is ginger that I now had grown on from just a piece of ginger from the grocery store, so it was kind of cool. And I thought, oh no, I'll replant a piece. I just left a piece in a pot of dirt. It ended up drying out because I forgot about it, and I thought it was lost forever. I thought it was done, and then I noticed it starting to sprout maybe a month or two ago, and then I started watering it, and here we are. I brought it down into a sunnier area, and it's putting on some leaves, and it's growing a little ginger plant. So this is really cool. I do need to top dress this soil with some stones. I have cats, and so I don't like to have just plants that have really open soil or anything. So I'm gonna go down to the garden and grab a few stones just to put on top of this, just to top dress it. But I thought that was really neat. I'm not gonna plant it outside. I think I'm gonna try to grow it as a house plant. I'm not entirely sure what exactly I should do with it. I grew it outdoors in the garden in a container last year, and I loved it. It was so fun. I just got a piece of grocery store ginger, I put it in a pot, and I started watering it. I think I have a video or two about it, and it grew beautifully. It actually produced a decent amount of ginger, and it was this really pretty kind of tropical plant. It was gorgeous and super fun. So, I thought that was pretty cool, and I'm just gonna get some stones and top dress it. And then I had a couple containers that have been sitting around that are empty. So I had this cute little container, and then I have a bigger one here. And so I thought I would make kind of some little arrangements, or just fill these containers. Let me move my Staghorn Fern out of the way. I will talk about this later. I love Staghorn Ferns, and I have one outdoors right now, and then these two indoor ones. But I'm going to start with this big pot. I want to kind of make a little display on here for the center of my kitchen table. Now, it doesn't get very much sun, so whatever I put in here, I am going to have to kind of rotate out or in and out, and we'll see what I end up doing. But I thought that ivy is a pretty hardy plant, so that would be pretty, and it will kind of spill around over the table. So I got, this is a finger ivy. It's like a really narrow ivy. It doesn't look like the traditional ivy, which I like because I thought about just getting like some glacier ivy or something like that. But this is just a little bit more interesting and kind of fun. I may end up putting everything in their own pots, but I wanted to see if I could get this in here with maybe another container, and we could just kind of make it grow around and sort of fill the container without having to, you know, plant it into another bigger planter. I think it's kind of pretty spilling over. And then I have this fern here, which is a footed fern. It's not doing well. I put it outside to let it get some rainwater. I like to take, in the summer, like let my houseplants have a little time outside. If we're getting a rainstorm and I can control it, then I'll just set them out there to get some rain. It ended up getting more than rained on. It got some sun. It's looking a little burned. I had it in kind of a prime location, and I don't know. So I thought I could put it here, and if we could just fill this pot with a couple containers, and then I don't actually have to like plant into the pot. There we go, that fits. Oh, I think that's kind of pretty. And hopefully this will just sort of have a minute to refresh on the kitchen table, and it and the ivy will do well. And then I found these cute little, they're like little fairy garden mushrooms, which I don't usually go for things like this, but something about it was just kind of cute and silly, and I thought it would be fun to just stick them. Since this is going on our kitchen table, it's something that we are going to be looking at. You know, a little bit of interest. I thought my daughters would kind of like it. So I think these are cute. I just need to get a scissors and cut this tag off. All right, so you could totally leave this container like this. It's beautiful and full. And the nice thing is, by just setting these pots, I didn't even take them out of their nursery containers. It's gonna be so easy to pop them in and out, and really you're not looking at this container like right on top, so you won't notice. And then these, they're just like these little ceramic glazed little mushroom caps, just to add a little bit of whimsy and fun, something interesting and a little different. I didn't used to do stuff like this. I wouldn't have said in the past that this was really my aesthetic, but more and more, like maybe it's having kids, I like to add little kind of like natural, fun, whimsical little touches like this. And I feel like it just adds something to the container, and mixing sort of the old, more like earthy glazed pattern here with the very traditional blue and white china. To me, my eye, I think it's really fun. And then you can't go wrong with ferns and ivy as far as pretty easy houseplants go. I mean, they're two of the best options. Not to say that I haven't killed them, because obviously this footed fern is definitely seen better days, but mixed in here with the mushrooms, and I'll just, you know, pull off any dead leaves that I find, and the ivy. I think it just looks kind of wild and wonderful. And hopefully the cats won't mess with this container too much. I think as long as they don't find out that these move, then we should be okay. But so this is my centerpiece now for my kitchen table, so I'm gonna go pop it out there. All right, that is great. And then I just have a couple little containers, and we'll put, I got this silver lace fern, which I thought was really kind of beautiful. Few dead leaves at the bottom. My local garden center does such a good job. The plants always look incredible. And sometimes with my houseplants, I feel like it's just a matter of changing out the plant, just getting fresh plants. This is a fern. This is a rabbit's foot fern on its last legs. You can see it did look more like this when I got it. I've struggled a little bit, but I've got it in a sunnier window now. I think this one has a little higher sun requirements, but this is a really cool fern as well. And it's got like these little feet that the leaves grow off of. I and it's super cool. So I've kind of been limping this along just in this little pot, and I was thinking about maybe putting it outside or trying to do some sort of like a rehab to it, but I think we're just gonna keep it in the window and maybe do these side by side. We'll see. I got another fern. This is a really gorgeous mahogany fern. So I do like some of the ferns that have different colors and textures. It's just sometimes fun to change it up a little bit. This was really pretty and looked really healthy and beautiful. Very like woodland. You can see the little new fern leaves coming up. I thought I would put this in here. That's pretty. So maybe we'll do this one and this next to each other as like a little woodland pair. And then I did, to kind of tie in the more grayish, brownish tones of this pot, I pulled out a little just kind of gray terracotta little tray for this so that they sort of match. And I'll go set them by the chairs. That is super cute. And we'll see, oh, there's the garden. We'll see how it does right there, but I think they'll both be pretty happy. This is a nice south-facing window, so if they get too much sun, I can always switch them out. I was just grooming my 2 Staghorn Ferns. These live on my countertops. It just was pulling off any dead leaves. You don't want to take off, they call them the shields, these lower leaves down here that are actually a part, they're like the female part. You can see a better one on this side. Those leaves, never remove those. This is actually the female part of the plant. I think female, I don't know. It is an important part of the plant. Don't take off those leaves. But sometimes these bigger, like the staghorn fronds, they'll start to die and they'll just basically fall off on your own, on their own. So you can trim them off or just wait until they come off. That's the rule with staghorn ferns. And I'm just gonna set this guy, he lives over here on the counter. Absolutely love. I have also been picking so many flowers out of the garden. Look at these these are the Queenie Lime zinnias. So pretty with these are the Indian Summer Rudbeckia. Super good vase life. All of these, this whole arrangement is probably at least like 4 to 5 days old, and I've still got the echinacea looking great, gomphrena of course, the zinnias are perfect, and yeah, I'm loving that. So I've been trying to pick more flowers and bring them in. Sometimes it is hard to want to pick your flowers and bring them in, but then when you do, I mean, I do spend a lot of time in the kitchen because I'm always cooking meals for my daughters and I'm in and out here, and I actually spend so much time in here. So I try to remind myself that it is really nice to cut some of the flowers so they can kind of enjoy them throughout the day and not just when I'm down in the garden. Okay, now we do have to go down to the garden to get some stones to top dress the ginger. Nothing like stealing some stones from the landscaping. Ooh, and I brought in, I did bring in a bug. Oh gosh. All right. That is a Japanese beetle, which I don't want in my garden anyways. Oh my, okay. It's always a debate whether or not to let your houseplants live outside during the summer. Last year I tried a bit more of it. I brought a lot of houseplants outside, and I had some kind of issues with pests when I brought them all in. So my lemon tree, I had to completely remove all the soil because I had some sort of like centipede. I don't know what. I brought the container in, and within like 2 days, there were just hundreds of baby centipedes hatching, which was a very unpleasant surprise. I do have a lemon tree outside right now. It's actually looking really good. I have a pink variegated lemon. I'll put a quick picture in so you can see, and it's doing really well. So that's That's good, but I don't know what we're gonna do when we bring it in. Hopefully it won't be covered in bugs the same way. It was really pretty, yeah, it was pretty bad. It was really pretty gross. Well, anyways, that was a few plants kind of styled up. This one is just gonna go here on the island. Nice little sunny spot. And I have to go outside now and brave the heat. Even in the evening, it's still hot out. The sun's going down right now, but it's still really hot out. I'm gonna go water the whole garden, make sure everything is looking good because the containers are drying out pretty quickly these days. Thank you so much for hanging out in the kitchen with me, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.